In my hands, I hold a bouquet of roses freshly picked this morning. Dewdrops still cling to the elegant pink petals with their reddish hue. In the quiet before opening time, I weave between the flowers, carefully arranging each stem. A small wind chime sways, letting in a fresh breeze. "Mom, we're running low on water," Lily calls softly from the back. My 8-year-old daughter always helps at the shop on her days off. It's Saturday. James, my husband, left early for work, but his expression was sterner than usual. He hadn't come home until late again last night. "Thank you, Lily. Mommy will top it up later," I say, gently patting her head. Lily gives a small nod and silently returns to tending the flowers. She never smiles in front of her father anymore. She just keeps her head down, tension written across her face. Margaret, my mother-in-law, appears from the back of the shop. At 65, she lives with her son and daughter-in-law. "Amy, the deliveries are ready," she says kindly. But there's something shadowy lurking in her eyes. We live in an upscale suburb of Boston. On the surface, we want for nothing. My husband earns over $800,000 a year as an executive at a major investment bank. Some weekends, we spend time at our Cape Cod vacation home. But lately, the atmosphere at home has grown heavy. "Think you'll make it to church tomorrow?" Margaret asks. Sunday service at the Episcopal Church had been our family routine. But my husband's words echo in my mind, "Don't meet with anyone." "Well, we'll see how I'm feeling," I reply vaguely. Lily leans against my shoulder. June sunlight streams into the shop. While the flowers shine beautifully, shadows have fallen across our hearts. My husband has started flying into rages over trivial matters and has become oddly fixated on the family's movements. He's staying out later and later, and when he does come home, he won't speak to anyone. "Amy, those men are back," Margaret's voice trembles. Men in black suits pass by the shop front. We'd seen them yesterday, and the day before. I stand protectively in front of my daughter. Lily's small hands clutch tightly at my clothes. In our flower-scented shop, we hold our breath, waiting for those shadows to pass. My little flower shop along the Charles River has a good reputation in the area. We handle arrangements for churches and funeral homes, and do wedding flowers too. Though it's not a large business, we've built up steady trust. But lately, those peaceful days have been threatened. "Mommy." Lily looks up at me with worried eyes. "I'm scared of Daddy." Her words squeeze my heart. Indeed, my husband has changed. There's no trace left of the gentleman he once was. Though his work at the investment bank should be going well, his eyes seem haunted by something, and he can't settle. Margaret has been pained watching her son's transformation. She fears him too. Sometimes she catches him desperately searching through the safe room late at night. Suspicious phone calls have become more frequent. Every day, I drive my daughter to and from her expensive private school. Along the way, I have to maintain a perfect facade. In this neighborhood full of education-conscious upper-class families, rumors spread like wildfire. So I desperately hide the growing darkness in our family. Shopping at Whole Foods Market, gatherings with friends, PTA meetings. On the surface, nothing has changed. But our hearts were being eaten away, bit by bit. The wind chime sways again. This time, it's a regular customer. I put on a smile and hand over a bouquet. The fragrance of flowers and my daughter's warmth keep my heart going. Late that night, the phone rings. At the sound of the bell breaking the late-night silence, I stiffen. Lately, no good news comes from late-night calls. I had dozed off on the living room sofa waiting for my husband to return. I pick up the receiver with trepidation. Mrs. Amy Wilson. This is Detective Johnson from the Boston Police Department. I'm sorry to inform you that your husband has been in a car accident. My hand holding the receiver trembles. The officer continues, he's being transported to Massachusetts General Hospital now. It was a single-vehicle accident on Charles Street. His consciousness is. The rest of the words sound distant and hazy. In my memory, I see my husband's stern expression from when he left the house this morning. We'll explain the details at the hospital. Please come as soon as you can. I hurry upstairs. Being careful not to make noise on the hallway carpet, I open Lily's door. In the dim light, my daughter is awake. As if she had sensed something, she sits on her bed, hugging her knees. Lily, Daddy's been taken to the hospital. Let's go together. She nods silently and gets up quickly. There's an unnatural calmness in her movements. As if she had been waiting for this moment. Downstairs, Margaret waits with concern. She must have woken up from the noise too. Wearing a thin robe, her face is pale. Mom, please watch the house. Yes, be careful, and Amy, whatever happens, stay strong. There seems to be some other meaning in Margaret's voice. Her eyes show a determination I've never seen before. The car runs along the midnight streets. Streaks of streetlights flow past the windows. Lily in the passenger seat remains silent. I notice her anxiously checking the rearview mirror whenever we stop at traffic lights. Massachusetts General Hospital's emergency ward is in chaos. Doctors and nurses in white coats hurry back and forth, ambulance sirens wail in the distance. We follow the guide down corridors filled with the smell of disinfectant. Are you the Wilson family? A young doctor approaches us. Though tired, there's tension in his expression. He's currently unconscious and in critical condition. He's suffered severe head trauma, and there may be internal injuries. We're preparing for emergency surgery. As I listen to the doctor's explanation, I grip my daughter's hand tightly. I feel Lily's fingertips trembling slightly. We wait in the long corridor outside the operating room. Under the fluorescent light's artificial glow, Lily grips my hand. Her small hand is unnaturally cold. A red lamp glows quietly on the wall, indicating surgery in progress. The clock hands move slowly. During this time, Lily never tries to let go of my hand. It's as if she's afraid of being separated from me. Just before dawn, the surgery finally ends. We've managed to save his life, but he hasn't regained consciousness yet. There were multiple fractures and internal injuries, but fortunately nothing fatal. We'll keep him in the ICU for observation for now. As I listen to the doctor's explanation, I feel Lily's grip on my hand growing stronger. At that moment, I thought I saw something flash across my daughter's expression. Not relief, something else. In the ICU room, only the regular beeping of life support equipment could be heard. The green waveform on the monitor sways quietly, a testament to my husband's life. He lies in bed, surrounded by tubes and wires. His usually intimidating expression is gone, and he just looks like he's sleeping, pale-faced. The bandages covering his head and medical equipment attached all over tell of the accident's severity. That's when it happened. Lily's body suddenly starts shaking. When I look at my daughter in surprise, large tears are overflowing from her eyes. Are they tears of fear, or some other emotion? With a trembling voice, Lily whispers in my ear. "Mommy, we have to run. Once Daddy wakes up, it'll be too late." Those words send a chill down my spine. In my daughter's eyes, I see a fear I've never witnessed before. As if something she'd been suppressing for so long had suddenly burst forth. Those weren't the eyes of a young girl. They held a heavy truth that couldn't be put into words. I couldn't hide my shock. The scene before me suddenly looked different. My husband's accident, the quiet of the hospital room, and above all, my daughter's abnormal fear. Everything seemed to hint at some larger mystery. Outside the window, dawn's light was slowly beginning to color the sky. Lily. As I start to speak, footsteps from the nurse's station could be heard. Lily quickly presses herself against me as if hiding, still trembling. The gesture seems like a habitual response. Visiting hours are over. The nurse's gentle voice brings me back to reality. "Thank you. We'll be leaving now." As we leave the room, I take one last look at my husband. Surrounded by life support equipment, he looks like a different person. When did the gentle husband I once knew become such a terrifying presence? And my daughter's words keep echoing in my mind. "We have to run. Once Daddy wakes up, it'll be too late." The weight of those words slowly sinks into my heart. Only our footsteps echo in the quiet ICU corridor. My daughter's hand still firmly grips mine. The hospital waiting room was quiet like morning mist. Under dim fluorescent lights, plastic chairs stand in sterile rows. A faint smell of disinfectant lingers. Hours have passed since the accident, and while my body complains of fatigue, my mind is filled with an strange tension. Lily curls up small beside me. Even as dawn breaks, my daughter's trembling hasn't completely subsided. Wrapped in a thin blanket, she looks like an injured bird. We decided to wait here until Margaret arrives. "Lily, can you tell me?" I speak gently. I thought perhaps now she could talk about the changes of these past few months. My daughter raises her face slightly, her gaze sweeping the area as if checking. That gesture shows ingrained vigilance. The waiting room is empty. The early morning hospital is still wrapped in silence. "Daddy." Lily's voice trembles slightly. "He was afraid we'd run away." My heart pounds at those words. In my daughter's eyes, I see an emotion I've never witnessed before, something like determination. "He watched us every day. Said if we told anyone about the money, the whole family would disappear." Lily's confession continues like darkness suddenly bursting forth after being contained for so long. What she saw after coming home from school, her father's suspicious behavior, sounds in the night. And the many changes in him that she had secretly observed. Daddy's computer, always full of things like codes, Lily whispers. But I started to learn bit by bit. The meaning of the numbers too. To think an 8-year-old girl carried such a burden. My heart felt crushed. Just then, the waiting room door opens and Margaret enters. Her face is pale, wearing an expression of someone who's made a decision. She clutches an old leather bag. "Amy, I need to tell you too." Margaret opens her heavy mouth. She says she noticed her son's changes about 6 months ago. His desperate searching through the safe room late at night. The numerous suspicious phone calls. His behavior like someone being pursued. At first I thought it was work stress, Margaret's voice trembles. But that day. It happened a month ago. Margaret, waking in the night, froze at the sound of her son's shouting from his study. From the leather bag, she takes out a photograph. She had secretly taken it of her son's study. "Don't tell anyone. If you value your lives." Since that night, the atmosphere in the house changed completely. Security cameras increased, and family outings were strictly limited. All bank accounts were placed under my husband's control. Margaret had witnessed her son's descent into madness firsthand. The numbers on the computer screen, I understood too, Margaret says quietly. They were the amounts of assets taken, and of people who disappeared. But that's not all, Lily says in a thin voice. Her voice carries the fear she couldn't tell anyone until now. My daughter begins to tell of an incident one night. The night my husband's work associates came to the house. Hearing angry shouts and things breaking from the study, Lily fearfully went to look. Hidden in the dark hallway, she witnessed everything. "They've been silenced." Next is. Her father's voice was heard. The evidence, another man's voice. All taken care of. Shadows on the wall formed ominous shapes. That's when Lily heard the decisive words. "We don't spare witnesses." It was her father's cold voice. Like a completely different person. After that, I saw, Lily's voice trembles. On Daddy's computer screen. A photo of an elderly couple was displayed prominently. Next to it, the red text, "Handled." And a series of enormous numbers. Those people, they went missing, in the news. Margaret catches her breath. A chill runs down my spine. In my memory, fragmented events connect. My husband's behavior started changing after that big investment deal. Elderly couples promised enormous profits suddenly disappeared. And the small articles in the newspaper about missing persons cases. This photo too, Margaret pulls out another photo with trembling hands. My son was hiding it. It shows the smiling faces of several elderly couples. All people who had recently gone missing. "Amy," Margaret takes my hand. "We can't stay silent anymore. We must." Just then, footsteps are heard from the hallway. Lily stiffens. Margaret quickly returns the photos to her bag. A nurse approaches. "There are visitors here to see you." Outside the waiting room stands a man in a black suit. Claiming to be my father's work associate, his eyes gleam coldly. The tall man's shadow stretches ominously down the misty hallway. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry about this. Your husband and I are close colleagues. At his voice, Lily clutches my clothes tightly. The color drains from Margaret's face. The man continues, "Actually, there are some important company documents I'd like to ask about." In that moment, everything became clear. My husband's abnormal behavior, the investment fraud, and the disappeared people. We had learned a truth we were never supposed to know. My husband wasn't just a fraudster. He was involved in something far more terrifying. "I'm sorry," I answer quietly but firmly. "I'd like to spend this time just with family." The man shoots a sharp glance for a moment, but eventually leaves with an unnatural smile. I thought I saw something sinister in his retreating back. Back in the waiting room, none of us could speak for a long time. As morning light began streaming through the hospital windows, I had made my decision. I couldn't expose my daughter and Margaret to danger any longer. After repeatedly questioning myself, I reached this conclusion. "Lily, Margaret, let's live on together." The moment I spoke those words, something that had weighed heavily for years seemed to lighten slightly. A faint look of relief appears on their faces. However, this was just the beginning. My husband's organization was powerful, and one wrong step could be irreversible. After leaving the hospital, we first visited a small law office on the opposite side of town. Across the Charles River, down an alley past old storefronts. The old brick building seemed to hide in the shadow of skyscrapers. My husband's associates shouldn't be able to reach us here. Jane Walker, a female lawyer I had contacted by phone earlier to explain the situation, was waiting for us. "You've been through a lot," she said quietly. "First, let's ensure your safety." In the antique-style reception room, we explained the detailed situation. The photos Margaret had prepared, the conversations Lily remembered. And the numerous suspicious incidents up until now. Lily sometimes spoke with a trembling voice, but with certain memory. She showed a composure unimaginable for an 8-year-old. "This is clearly coercion," Jane said with a serious expression. "And there's sufficient evidence of investment fraud." But she paused as if choosing her words. Light streaming through the window deepens the shadows on her face. "There's possibility of more serious crimes too. The missing persons cases should be under police investigation. Actually, there's already movement. We spent over 2 hours planning our future actions. First, preparing new identification documents. Considering application for the Witness Protection Program. And opening new bank accounts outside my husband's control. Lily's school transfer needed careful handling too. "I know a school principal," Jane said. "At a small private school in Maine. She'll understand the situation." "But the money?" I voiced my concern. My husband controlled all the flower shop's revenue. "It's all right," Margaret said quietly. "I have my retirement savings in a separate account. My son doesn't know about it." Her trembling hands take out a bank book. "This should last us for a while." Just then, Jane's cell phone rings. She answers and her expression changes. The air in the room instantly becomes tense. "The Crawfords are going to testify." Margaret and I exchange glances at that name. They were one of the elderly couples thought to be missing. They were the first major investors my husband had dealt with. They were taken into police protection 2 weeks ago. Apparently, they were being held at a facility in the Montana mountains. And now, they're prepared to testify about your husband's involvement. The room's atmosphere instantly fills with tension. Only the sound of an old fan breaks the silence. But that means... Margaret's voice trembles. My son's associates. Yes, things will change, Jane nods. Their testimony will accelerate the investigation. The FBI will likely get involved. But at the same time, the danger increases, Lily says in a small voice. Daddy's friends will become desperate. She was right. The Crawfords' appearance was a double-edged sword for us. While the police investigation would progress, it would also trigger my husband's organization into action. They would do anything to prevent new witnesses from coming forward. It's a race against time. Jane stands up. Let's hurry with preparations. I have a friend who works at a domestic violence hotline. Let's ask for her cooperation. That afternoon, we decided to move separately. Margaret to the bank, to transfer deposits and open new accounts. Me to arrange new accommodation. I needed to contact a real estate agent in Kennebunkport. And Lily to discuss school transfer with a trusted teacher. Be careful, we said to each other. Moving separately through the city was dangerous, but we were racing against time. In the evening, I received a call from the hospital. Ma'am, your husband's condition has stabilized. He may regain consciousness tomorrow. If possible. My hand holding the receiver trembled slightly. No time. We had to complete all preparations before he wakes up. Driving through the night city, I organized my thoughts. In these few hours, shocking facts had come to light one after another. Jane's investigation revealed horrifying truths. The number of victims exceeded 100. People who lost all their retirement assets. Elderly people who had their pension funds taken under the guise of investments. And then the threats, confinement, and, for evidence elimination. Just thinking about it sends chills down my spine. There are still people who haven't been found, Jane's words keep repeating in my head. When I returned to the hospital, visiting hours were almost over. Those men in black suits were in the hallway again. They smiled eerily when they saw me. In the ICU ward, I saw my husband for the last time. Surrounded by tubes, his condition was stable, and they said he would soon regain consciousness. The sleeping face of the man I once loved now looked like a stranger. Let's go. Lily's voice came from behind. When I turned around, my daughter was looking at me with strong eyes. That fearful expression was gone. Her eyes now shone with determination for a new future. Yes, I nodded. We're not coming back. As we left the hospital, a full moon shone in the sky. In the car heading to the hotel where Margaret waited, Lily showed a peaceful sleeping face for the first time in a long while. Moonlight through the car window gently illuminated her cheek. With tomorrow's dawn, we begin a new life. A new flower shop in a small coastal town in Maine. There, we'll reclaim our peaceful days. A life surrounded by the sound of waves and the fragrance of flowers. I gripped the steering wheel with determination. Under the moonlight, the car continued north. Behind us lay our past. And ahead, though uncertain, spread a future full of hope. A year has passed since then. My new flower shop stands on a small street in Kennebunkport, Maine. It's a modest shop with white walls and a blue door. The name Lily's Flowers was my daughter's idea. In the morning mist, I water the potted plants in front of the shop. The sound of waves carries on the sea breeze. "Mom, I'm ready," Lily calls from inside the shop. My daughter, now 9, has completely regained her bright expression. She's made many friends at her new school. On weekends, she invites friends over to bake cookies together. Every time I see my daughter smile, I'm convinced that decision was right. "Amy, today's deliveries are ready." Margaret appears carrying bouquets. She too is spending peaceful days. She participates in local volunteer activities and is active in the church reading group. Sometimes she gets lost in thought about her son, but that's becoming less frequent. Our new life is gradually taking shape. The shop is loved by the community and popular with tourists. Our flowers add color to Main Street with its antique shops. But the past hasn't completely disappeared. Sometimes the topic appears on TV news. Headlines reading, "Major investment fraud case, new developments." As the full scope of the case came to light, its scale exceeded imagination. Victims numbered over 100, with total damages reaching tens of millions of dollars. Elderly people who lost their retirement funds. Families robbed of their dreams. And those who never returned. My husband, no, ex-husband now, was arrested soon after regaining consciousness. FBI investigation led to his indictment as the mastermind of the investment fraud and suspect in multiple attempted murders. At the trial, witnesses appeared one after another. Starting with the Crawfords, survivors came forward courageously to testify. Margaret and I also submitted written testimony. Lily was exempted from testifying as she had already started a new life in a safe place. The sentence was 25 years in prison. He'll spend most of his life behind bars. Other organization members were arrested one after another. The men in black suits appeared on news being handcuffed. Each time, I felt chills run down my spine. Their evil hands had nearly reached us. Newspapers and TV reported this case as the investment fraud of the century targeting the elderly. But that was just the surface. Behind it lay a more horrific story. Threats, assault, and, for evidence elimination. The prosecutor's words still ring in my ears. But now, a new morning is beginning. Children pass by the shop on their way to school. Lily too walks to school, chatting happily with her new friends. They've made plans to go to the beach together this weekend. Margaret has started volunteering at a local senior center. She's also quietly involved in support activities for investment fraud victims. Her kindness gradually heals the hearts of wounded people. I participate in activities with the Victims' Families Association. At monthly gatherings, we talk with people who've had similar experiences. There are people there who have overcome grief and started new lives. "Mom, look." Lily points to a flower blooming in front of the shop. A pure white lily shines in the morning sun. "Beautiful," I smile. Flowers change with the seasons. But their beauty remains constant. We too will live through new seasons the same way. "Mommy, I'm happy today too. Lily says this and hugs me. Her words warm my heart. We certainly lost important things. But we managed to protect even more important things. Our family bonds and a future full of hope. The wind chime sounds in the shop. A new day was about to begin.